What charges were served on the ex-Deputy Minister of Ecology and Natural Resources? What property in the Russian Federation did an MP forget to declare? How did the case of the MP who wanted to go to the forest from the scene of the accident end? Hello, I am Svetlana Olefira, NABU spokesperson. You are watching our February News Digest. Here we go! Fourteen buildings owned by the public enterprise National Cinematheque of Ukraine came into view of corrupt officials. So these facilities, worth almost 42 million hryvnias, were sold way cheaper to a predetermined company. The participants in the crime include the former Deputy Minister of Culture and 6 more persons. They all became suspects, while 2 of them hit the wanted list. And what about the buildings? Thanks to the evidence collected by detectives, the court cancelled the results of the auction and returned them to the rightful owner. A suspicion notice was served on the ex-Deputy Minister of Ecology and Natural Resources. He is charged with embezzling over 32 million hryvnias through a scheme involving the purchase of software development services. The crime was committed with the participation of 2 foreigners who also became suspects. The investigation is ongoing. What about the Ukrgazbank case, the one in which the bank's management decided to pay 206 million hryvnias to a number of individuals and legal entities for attracting new customers? Alas, the intermediaries did not provide any services and stopped any activities after receiving the payments. Last October, the former Ukrgazbank CEO and 4 bank's officials became suspects. In February this year, charges were served on 10 more persons from among the pseudo-intermediaries. More to come. In 2007, the then Prime Minister took possession of 17.5 hectares of forest land in the Kiev region. Shortly after, a hotel and restaurant complex was built there for his private needs. We are talking about the Sukholucha case, in which 4 persons became suspects. In February, NABU and SAPO completed the investigation. By the way, the hotel and restaurant complex has been confiscated into state revenue. This became possible thanks to the law on sanctions. The High Anti-Corruption Court will try the current Ukrainian MP who did not declare a house and a parking lot in Spain worth more than 227,000 euros, as well as $1,600 in Ukrainian banks. Interestingly, the official repeatedly failed to show up at NABU, and when detectives found him, he refused to take the indictment and case materials. However, it did not help him to hide from justice. The former MP who chaired the Verkhovna Rada Committee on the Fuel and Energy Complex also got on the dock. He is accused of receiving more than 311,000 euros from a Czech company with Russian roots for promoting its interests in Ukraine. During the search of the ex-MP's place, detectives discovered and seized a significant amount of cash, of which $785,000 and 650,000 hryvnias were transferred to the armed forces of Ukraine. The High Anti-Corruption Court sentenced to 10 years an accomplice in receiving almost 11 million euros by the ex-head of the State Forestry Agency. The court also applied special confiscation of more than $1.4 million and more than 1.2 million euros held on the Swiss accounts of the company of the ex-head's wife. The former chair and deputy of a village council in the Kiev region will spend 9 years in prison. The court found them guilty of requesting and receiving bribes worth 300,000 euros and $10,000 for the lease of land. The court also confiscated half of their property. an MP was found guilty of attempting to bribe police officers. It was he who wanted to go to the forest from the scene of the accident, offering a bribe. After the case got to NABU and SAPO, he agreed to a plea agreement. As a result, he paid a fine of 68,000 hryvnias and undertook to spend 6 million hryvnias on drones for the military. The appeals chamber of the High Anti-Corruption Court upheld 5 and 4 years in prison for the ex-officials of Kharkiv Obolenergo and Kharkiv Vodokanal. They were found guilty of causing Kharkiv Obolenergo losses of over 19.6 million hryvnias. The Supreme Court upheld 11 and 10.5 years behind bars for the former acting director of the Air Express National Project and his accomplice. They were found guilty of embezzling 116 million hryvnias allocated for the construction of a passenger railway between Borispil Airport and Kyiv. This was the February top news from NABU. Check our website for more exposures, investigations and cases in court, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos. Stand with Ukraine!